Louise, I'd love to quiz you a bit about how you use stories with Ludlow Gin to really highlight the great content you put in the feed, whether it is a reel or a post or a longer form video, and how you highlight them. You know, what's your philosophy to using stories, and what are the best practices for everybody else to pick up?
Okay, so stories are hugely important. So I would say the 3 things that you need to be doing on Instagram if you're really looking to get organic growth are reels, stories, and hashtags. Now Instagram would suggest that you should be using kind of 3 to 5 stories a day, which I think for some people is just completely crazy and not going to happen. But if you were able to do a story a day, you would make a huge difference to your account. And having highlights, which are these, I don't know, can you see my arrow pointing over the highlights like a pointer? Anyway, so these highlights are a really good way of giving you a real good brand identity on your Instagram page, and also storing the favorite stories that you have in your feed. Now, for those who don't know how to kind of upload a story, if I go through it, you're going to start by clicking on your profile picture here. You can see when we went early where we're talking about a cocktail, but you're going to click the plus button here. And I am going to put a picture up which relates to the reel that we've put on earlier. Going to write some text. Now, remember, with the text, you can change the font, you can animate it. And the best thing about the changes to Instagram's rules now are you can add a link. So it used to be, I don't know if you remember, Polly, so it used to be that you needed to have 10,000 followers before they would allow you to have a live link in your stories.
Oh, such a nightmare, Louise.
Such a nightmare, but obviously that's changed now. I obviously need to go and make sure I get the right link. So let me just go and get the link now.
Louise is going to go and get the link to be able to buy it. So basically, it means that each story can take you straight to the product, which is the huge value that has been added by being able to put the link sticker on, because it means you can see the story, and you can either send them to the post, or you can send them straight to buy the product. Beautiful.
Straight to buy the product. You can put it everywhere you want, and you want people to go so that they can click on your link and go straight to your account. We've done this before. I don't know if you can add all sorts of things. Location for local businesses is really, really useful, because location tagging on your post can really help you be found. Obviously, if you have a non-alcoholic business, you should absolutely have connected up your Instagram shop, in which case you can tag in all of your products here. Another really good thing to do is to be able to, you can add music, you can add polls, all sorts of fantastic things to make the whole process far more interactive. And then you just add it to your stories here. Now, if I just go onto the home page, stories here appear at the top of your page. And there are so many people now who just scroll across rather than scrolling up and down.
It's quicker, right, isn't it? I mean, I do it. I'll go to my Instagram feed and I'll scroll horizontally, not vertically. And I think...
Absolutely. And people are just interested because there's much more behind the scenes content. You can click through it really easily. You never know quite what you're going to find. You know, there's all sorts of, much more interesting content for people, and that is what people are interested in, because quite often a feed is curated. Whereas what you get with reels and what you get with stories is you get some much more kind of original content. It's also really good if you get, user generated content as well. So if anybody is taking images of your product, so what you can see here is product that has been created. These are photos and cocktails that have been made by other people other than us. And they've created beautiful kind of cocktails, beautiful products. and use, user generated content is another really, really fantastic way of making sure that people engage with your content, and it really inspires trust as well, and authenticity.
I think there's a really careful balance with stories, Louise, isn't there? Which is that you want people to want to continue to consume them. So you have to give quite a lot. You've got to want people to want to watch it rather than think they're always being sold to. So
yes,
if you go linktastic, you'll find that people will not. They're here as a media channel. They're here to be entertained.
Yes, absolutely.
Your content's got to add value, and the same applies for stories. It can be behind the scenes, but it's got to make people smile. It's got to stop their thumb, and you have a choice here. If you just whiz across the stories again, Louise, on your home screen, you can really quickly, if you come out of Ludlow Gin and go to your home screen, so you see the stories at the top of your homepage. If somebody keeps kind of sending you grotty content, you'll stop clicking on their button. And so as you create that content, the balance you've hit beautifully with Ludlow is that I want to see another cocktail.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get that wrong, people just won't click on you. So if you go to Ludlow Gin story, I know that we're going to see a whole raft of lovely content, of lovely cocktails. And I know there's a story there because there's the orange line around it. So if we go and look at Ludlow Gin story today, it will be something that makes me thirsty. I know it will be. And that's exciting. It's
good to have a balance, I think across much more now, like people are just interested in you. So, like places we love, there's this beautiful tailors in London that Sean gets suits from. And what's nice about that business is that they are all about kind of quality, beautiful things, handcrafted. It's all about the love. So there's this real synergy between the two brands, even though they're completely different businesses. We tend to find that anything with Sean's face on, people seem to really like. For a while, we were considering whether we needed to there was long conversations about whether Sean needed to kind of pull himself away from the brand a bit and let the brand speak for itself. But we tried doing that, and people want to buy from people. So it's also about striking that balance between telling the right stories, behind the right scenes, some beautiful content, giving back, but also letting people know who they're buying from.
I think you do a great job with that with Ludlow Gin. 10 out of 10. No. Amazing. Louise, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Use your stories, people.
Use your stories.